Now we're going to talk about the Gluteus Maximus muscle. That's your big butt muscle. It gets weak, and that's part of muscular imbalance that we see in the hips. You want this thing to be strong, not only for the health of the hip and the rest of the leg and the mechanics of the rest of the leg, but since this muscle is so big and so expansive, when it is toned, it's actually stabilizing your low back and your sacroiliac joint. Very, very important to have going. So what you're going to do to strengthen this, there are a lot of different exercises. I'm going to show you one that's pretty doable for most people. You're going to be on your back, and you're going to be doing a bridge effort. I'll show you the details in a second. You're going to do 3 to 5 reps, and you're going to do a 5 to 10 second hold. Okay? You can make this harder or easier depending on where you are skills-wise. But the basics are this. You're going to pull your toes up, and you're going to push your heels down into the mat and go up. You hold that, you're holding that for 5 to 10 seconds, and then you come back down. If you remember our pelvic clock exercise, where we were talking about keeping good spinal mobility, you don't want to be all the way down this way arching. You don't want to be dumpy. You want to stay in the middle. You want to stay in neutral. This is what you're trying to maintain. You may need to kind of tighten up a little bit in your abdomen to keep that neutral position before you even continue with the rest of the exercise. So I'm going to act like I'm doing that. All right, I'm in neutral. I'm firming up a little bit with my transverse abdominis muscle. We've got the video on that, on how to do that properly. Go check it out if you need to. I pull my toes up, and then I'm pushing down into my heels. Not directly down, but down and a little bit away. And I'm holding here. Why are we pushing a little bit away with the heels? Well, if we push straight down, we're actually going to get the hamstring muscles to be doing a little more of the work rather than the glutes themselves. We don't want these hamstrings doing all the work. We want the glutes doing all the work. So when you're pushing down and away, that kind of takes the hamstrings out of the equation. This should be fairly soft. This should be more firm. Pelvic neutral, trying to hold that. If you need to be firm here, tighten up a little bit in here, please do so. And then you come down nice and slowly, hinging at the hips. So there's more than meets the eye. There are a couple things going on. You got to make sure your pelvis is neutral and stable. You have to make sure that your feet are pushing down and in the correct orientation. Toes are up and you're pushing down with the heels in the right direction. And then you have to also check in on the hamstrings. So it looks like this. And I've got my hands up here. You could have them down here, whatever works for you. But your mind's eye is on those buns. Make sure that they're doing the work. If this exercise is a little bit too easy for you, if you can get through 10 reps of a 10-second hold, that's great. We always like to start with like 3 to 5 reps and see if we can build our way up to 10. If you can do 10 of these with good form, try to see if you can do one leg. So it's the same exact thing, except you just hug one leg up to you. Make sure your pelvis is in neutral. Stabilize by tightening a little bit. And then now with my right heel, I'm pushing down and away. And I really feel my glute engaging here, my gluteus maximus. And I'm making sure that I'm pushing away a little bit. If at any point during any of these exercises the hamstring muscle starts to get tender and cramp, this exercise has become too advanced for you and it's time for you to stop for that day. Okay, that means the hamstring is starting to substitute for the glute. With time, you'll be able to do more with the glute without the hamstring cramping, but don't continue if the hamstring is bothering you.